Joining us right now, GOP political strategist, co-founder, mustreadtexas.com. Also has a podcast you can check out on iTunes, Mac on Politics. It's Matt Mackowiak. Matt, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Chad. I'm doing great. Good morning.
Thanks for coming on today. It is inauguration week and for Donald Trump, and it's going to be amazing. The stories that happen this week, I think, are going to be just absolutely amazing as Democrats continue to maybe pull out of the inauguration, and Donald Trump keeps getting on Twitter, which let me ask you your feelings on Donald Trump and Twitter. Should he pull back from Twitter, or is it becoming a strategy to use Twitter to make the media and shift the media into covering what Donald Trump wants the media to cover and talk about?
Yeah, I'm kind of of two minds about this. I just don't think you can operate the way you do as a candidate in the same way as President of the United States. I just don't think you can. That said, I mean, it is pretty clear that he understands how to manipulate the media. He's done it in New York for 30 years. He did it for the last year as a candidate for president with the national media, and so far he is making much of the White House press corps look ridiculous. This truly deeply irresponsible publishing of an unverified document by BuzzFeed, to me, was kind of the inflection point. We're now through a looking glass where the media believes that anything that comes in, as long as it hurts Donald Trump, they can publish it because the public has a quote right to know. I don't remember that level of quote transparency regarding allegations towards President Obama for the last 8 years. What's interesting to me is that Trump is entering the White House with his own platforms, and generally the President of the United States, he needs the national media to get his message out. But Trump is different. He's got 20 million followers on Facebook. I don't know how many he has on Twitter. 20 million followers on Twitter. Probably more than that on Facebook. He doesn't need the media. I mean, that sounds incredible. It's an incredible thing to say, but I truly don't think he does. And I think at some point here, he's either going to start being treated fairly, or he's going to ignore the media altogether. Throw him out of the White House. Stop doing press briefings. Talk directly to the public. There's going to be howls by the White House press corps if it comes to that. But I just think this rush to try to catch him, this rush to try to nail him, the ferocity in that press conference this past week was greater than the worst possible moment of the Obama presidency, and Trump hasn't even taken office yet. So, look, there are serious questions that need to get asked about Russia and other subjects, conflict of interest. I want to get answers to those questions as well. But it seems to me, I mean, the media has about a 15% approval rating with the public. They're not the right messenger to try to take down Donald Trump, but they just can't help themselves, can they?
Yeah, it's something that they're going to continue to do and continue to go after them, that is for sure. Let me ask you about a story that came out from the Washington Post, speaking of the media. They did an interview with Donald Trump when he was talking about health care and the replacement for Obamacare, and he said that he wants to have insurance for everybody. What can we take away from that? I mean, there weren't a lot of details in that story. I don't even know if it's a real news story because it's something we already know, that he still wants everybody to be covered, but there's no details as to how that's going to happen, right?
That's right. And his incoming White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, this morning said he was talking about creating a marketplace where everyone can buy health insurance. So, look, I mean, you could look at what Trump said, and you could say, well, he wants single payer. That's liberal. But at the end of the day, single payer is not passing Congress, even if he did propose that. That's not what he's going to propose. He's going to stick with Republicans, I think, to a great extent on whatever Obamacare replacement they ultimately decide on, which they've said they want to pass by the end of March. So they'll be repealing Obamacare fully by the end of February, and they've said they will be replacing it by the end of March. I'm not sure they can hit that timeline. I think that's probably a little bit overly ambitious, but we'll see. But I do think the real challenge as it relates to Obamacare is what do you do with the 20 million people that have been covered? Now, I think it's like 15 million of them are on Medicaid. But you got another 5 million that have been covered, a number of whom are covered by these popular but yet expensive provisions, staying on the parents' plan, getting rid of pre-existing conditions, and getting rid of lifetime caps. Those are popular provisions. They're also extremely expensive. So therein lies the rub as it relates to replacing Obamacare. We'll see where it goes from here. Rand Paul is talking a big game about his Obamacare replacement bill. There are other proposals floating around. There's just not a consensus yet among Republicans on Capitol Hill, but boy, they've got to get moving quick, I think.
Yeah. Matt, before we let you go, let's talk about the first 100 days. That's what everyone's going to be focusing on after Friday. What can supporters of Donald Trump, Republicans, those who didn't even support Donald Trump, what can people expect within Trump's first 100 days? What can legitimately get done in those first 100 days?
Yeah, so the first thing is, on day one, on Friday, or perhaps the following Monday, the first full day, you're going to see him rescind almost every single executive order Obama's put in place. That's going to be very, very good for the economy. There's ridiculous executive orders related to the energy industry and other industries that are really putting a stranglehold on the economy. So those first day actions are going to be very important. Second, there's a debt limit bill that has to pass, I think, by mid-March. They're going to add, I'm sure, provisions to the debt limit increase. So there may be some good things in there as well. Third, you're going to see them repeal Obamacare by the end of February on reconciliation. That only requires 51 votes in the Senate. We'll see if they're able to add anything to the reconciliation bill. Now, outside of that, he's got his other priorities. Corporate tax reform, which is moving forward, which I think he's going to get. He obviously wants to put a conservative on the Supreme Court. It sounds like he's going to name that person in the next 10 days or so. Obviously wants to start rebuilding the military. He wants to pass an appropriations bill to start building the wall. Those priorities, I think, are all going to move forward. But keep in mind, Chad, you've got to have 60 votes in the Senate to do almost anything. And you only have 52 Republicans in the U.S. Senate. So he's going to have to find ways to get 8 Democratic votes to pass most of his priorities. We are going to find out pretty quickly just how good a negotiator he really is.
Very interesting. Matt, what can people find out about on mustreadtexas.com and how do they get signed up for your newsletter?
Yeah, it's a federal holiday, so we're getting a little bit of a late start this morning, but we do send out an email with the state's top news, opinion, and blog items from around the state every morning at mustreadtexas.com. You can sign up for our daily newsletter, which 4,000 Texans receive, at mustreadtexas.com.
All right, Matt, as always, appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you next week.
Have a great week. Take care.
You too. That's Matt Mackowiak.